guys, welcome to another exciting episode of the show pages. Happy New Year, and I hope you enjoyed your holidays and the festive seasons. It's actually the first episode of the show this year, and I'm so excited to have you all join us on the show. Like you know, Pages is that one show that shows on your online channel, Montage Africa TV, and it's that one show that discusses everything. As always and as usual, I have my guest in the house. I have Fibi Tukur. She's actually a theologian, she's a media strategist, she's an emotional psychologist. Whoa, she can be anything you want her to be, and so on and so forth. I'm so excited to have you join me on the show today.
It's a pleasure being on this program.
And you look adorable.
So much.
I haven't seen you in a while. Have you been?
I've been all good. It's been wonderful. It's been wonderful, believe me.
Wow. And on this episode and on the show, we're talking about the topic, the ex issues. Quite a stressing and a controversial topic. And I'd like to hear your opinion. What's your opinion? What's your take on the ex issues?
The two-letter word, X. It looks so small, but it's quite a mouthful and a thoughtful. First of all, you need to know what an X is. It depends on what you understand as an X. An X is anything you don't have anything to do with, supposedly. The X issue. And I think it's a timely topic to look at because it looks at something like we hardly like talking about, especially the men and the women. But an X issue is such an interesting thing to look at, believe me. And the X thing is something we really need to look at. It's much more than what we see.
Yeah, you know, a lot of persons have this disparity about your ex having anything to do with your ex. Now, some persons feel it's a crime to still have to keep contact with your ex and probably to still do businesses with your ex. What's really your take on that? And how do we separate this? How do we work on it? What's your idea? What are you telling people out there? Is it still possible to do businesses with your ex or have any other thing to do with him?
Okay, it actually runs on both sides because it depends on individuals and people. Some have relationships with their exes that has gone down the drain and down the rocks and is irreconcilable. And while some have a very beautiful relationship, we've seen people that will tell you, my ex and myself are very good friends and our children go to the same school. So it depends on the relationship you've had with your ex. You know, it's so much to do with your emotion, where you've been and how you parted or how you left each other. Some live on a very good terms. You see exes that do wonderful businesses.
Wow.
I've come across, I've consulted with people that exes had come together to run businesses.
Wow.
I'm talking of a group of people that have all kind of like dated or known themselves. Either this person had dated this girl and the friend dated her or something. But they're running very beautiful businesses, both local and international.
Exactly.
But it still depends on the kind of person. Some, for them, it's really not a good thing to venture into. There's some that I'll advise. After hearing what they've gone through, I'll tell you cut off. And there's some I'll tell you, okay, sit down, take a look at it, and take permission from the person you're with and how that person, because don't forget the other party too, the person you're dating at that moment or who you're in also counts in whether you should run a relationship, have a business with your ex or not.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. You know, I feel my own suggestion anyways, I feel your ex, having to do something with your ex, there's still this emotional attachment and there's still this feeling. You both will try to keep it clean and clear, like you said. Like there's this agreement, this mutual agreement, like, okay, we are coming together to run a business and we're coming together to do this thing. But don't you think there's a point where the emotions actually arouses again and everybody's like, woo? Don't you think there's that point?
Okay,
how do you stop that?
There's always a possibility of emotions coming up, but that's where the area of maturity comes into place.
Oh, okay.
If you have a relationship, it depends if you separated or you actually left the relationship. And I keep going back to the beginning, the basis. How did you part? Did you part out of anger, you had a fight, or you sat down and you dialogue, you communicated and you agreed, okay, we need to go our separate ways, you understand? It depends on what the foundation is. A lot of times they don't understand. There's always something about relationships. You can't date anyone. You can't marry everyone. You can't date everyone and marry everyone.
Exactly.
There's a thin line, yes, I agree, between either falling back into the same pattern. But it depends on the person. You could have separated from your ex, you're not in a relationship, he left a relationship, and when he comes back or she comes back, what will make you move ahead or rekindle that thing is either he has changed from that pattern that made you part in the first place, because you can't just fall for anything over again.
Exactly.
It will be foolishness and a crime to yourself.
Okay.
You know, it's deeper than this. I know subsequently we'll talk about other things, because you owe yourself to forgive yourself, grow and better yourself, and deserve better. And so does your ex, whether a girl or a guy, whether a female or a male. There's really a lot to this thing than the way we look at it, you know, on the surface. If you see relationships whereby they go back and they have a good relationship, either going back together to date or to marry or to run businesses, believe me, a lot of things have changed. It's not the same person you're thinking.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, you talked about trying to talk to the particular person you're dating at the point. You know, the person you're dating at the point needs to know that, okay, you want to run a business with your ex, and then he or she has to give you that permission. You talked about that. Now, what are the strategies you can put together to make sure that your present relationship doesn't have an issue with your ex? Because whether you like it or not, being a male or a female, there's this problem of insecurity. How do you manage this insecurity? What are the strategies you have to put together to make sure that your present doesn't have an issue with your ex or doesn't collide with your ex?
Okay, we have what we call the clean slate. The clean slate is when you fall out of a relationship and the next person that comes along needs to know what the past is all about, so they don't carry your garbage in. So you need to empty that garbage, and the best person you can do that is a clean slate. And one of the most strongest tool in the clean slate is communication. You talk.
Exactly.
This is what I've been through, this is what I've done. It was my fault, it was not my fault. So the person needs to know and know what you feel about that person. And adventure, your ex happens to come along with a beautiful plan for a business that you know it will work. It is not you that can sell. You're the only person that can sell your product.
Exactly.
So it's left for you to convince your present partner, okay, Mr. A is around, or Mr. B or Miss C is around, or whatever, and this is what she or he wants us to do. But you already know my past, you don't have a problem with it, nothing will happen. And that is where trust comes into it. If your partner trusts you enough, you've had that communication and you came on a clean slate, believe me, it's easy. And it depends on the kind of person again. If he's that jealous type or possessive person, or he's having a trust issue. If you even have a trust issue, you don't even bring it up in the first place.
Okay.
So it all depends. It's not as easy as we see or as easy as we think. We're all humans. We're all humans. But that clean slate is the first thing. And on that clean slate, the first tool is communication. That means he needs to know, she needs to know where you've been, where you are at, and where you think you'll go to with that person.
So in other words, what you're trying to tell us is that communication, or what you're trying to tell us is that personality type really matters when it comes to issues that has to do with the ex. Okay, thank you so much, Miss Fibi Tukur. I'm so excited to have you on the show today. Well, lastly, I'd like you to give us a little bit of advices for our audience out there. Let you know what's your take on having to do anything with your ex. What's the advice you're giving out to young people, especially this period? You know what? We're still gonna get into the Valentine period, and a lot of persons will fall prey to this particular challenge, this particular issue. So, what's that advice you're giving out to our audiences out there?
Okay, quickly, I would like to say, you know who your ex is. You know the pattern. There's nothing new. The only thing that makes it different is that person has changed and has conformed to that particular person or type of person you had wanted to see in the first place.
Exactly.
And don't rush into it. Why do they call them ex anyway? It's so that you give them time so that they refurbish themselves and get back to being a better person. That's what I think. But I'll tell you to take your time. Go over everything and know what you're going into.
Exactly.
Because sometimes the exes turn out to be the best, and sometimes they end up being the worst that you can ever have. So if you fall back into the same habit of the thing that had been killing you before, believe me, you're just as foolish as you've been before. Which means you've not built your self-esteem, you don't love yourself enough. But you can also give yourself time to see if the person can change, and you yourself have to also change. to confront to that person. My advice is just take it easy. Valentine is just around the corner. Don't be that foolish person as you were before. Just smarten up, that's all.
Thank you so much for coming on the show, for talking to us. It's been a wonderful time having you here, and we can't really exhaust this particular topic. We will still have another episode of the same topic, the X issues, and I hope our audience and our viewers out there enjoyed today's episode and today's show. It's been a wonderful time having you all join us. Don't forget to send your questions and your contributions to the social media platforms that will be showing right now on your screen. Thank you so much for watching the show pages, and it's your girl Tiana. Boom.